the cloud. Okay, and then it asks you if you want to be recorded, but you can move on and not be on camera.
Okay.
I'm recording now, but
Okay.
this is our
Hello.
first. Hello.
So
got together. I'm Thunder. That's Meraki.
Yeah, depending on your pronunciation, Meraki, but excuse me, I separated the Meraki because they all have different Egyptian connotations of my energy.
Yeah, tell me a little more about that. Well, I've heard of Ra. The eye of Ra, the sun god.
Yeah, well, that's what's interesting.
Is that not it? What?
No, it totally is, but it correlates as well with the Marina Jacobi harmonic reactor stuff we were going to discuss. Ra is the person or being that started coming in during her auto writing sessions in 2011 and started giving her the specifics about all this quantum environment and structure and the way to navigate it.
Right on.
Yeah.
There we go. So, Meraki is how you pronounce it?
Meraki.
That's what I kind of thought. Meraki. I like it. And of course, production company was just named Thunder, and I was up in my father's nickname in high school, Thunder Thornton.
Aww.
And I didn't even name it. A guy I'm in this nonprofit organization called Climate Freedom Celebration, where we, help people with cancer and we help vets. But that's our thing. But he's like, that's what you should name your production company, Shane. I'm like, what? Thunder. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's my dad's nickname. So yeah, right on. But you said something about Marina Jacobi, right?
Yeah, Ra, the same being that the reason why I have Meraki separated from my name Meraki is this Egyptian related, I don't know if it's energetically or historically, I didn't know that they had ever been physical beings, but there's a correlation between them and Atlantis, and upon my awakening as an adult, because I was tapped in as a child, but bullies and not fitting in high school and this whole thing, I kept trying to shove it down and put it away so I could try to maintain some sort of normality in a society I soon found out I really wanted nothing to do with. Was this book came to me called The Children of the Law of One, the CLO. And it's Ra. It's the Law of One. And it's the lost lessons of Atlantis. Anyway, so that's why I'm so interested in Marina's work, because Ra was one of the first aspects to come to me outside of myself that said, hey, this is real. There's definitely something going on outside of this and or inside of this, and you need to stay tapped into it. Damn the bullies.
Yeah, this has been going on your whole life, and it's like more and more every day things are getting unplugged in the 3D world about how much we are connected back then with the Egyptian, all the way back, and probably way before that, but it goes back that far with the Egyptian, referencing it, and lineage, and dealing with what we're doing right now in this particular plane. Yeah. But I don't know if anybody's heard out there what she's talking about is the harmonic reactor. It's interdimensional traveling and what is consciousness, future technologies by Marina Jacobi. We were just going to read a little bit and maybe talk a little bit about that, and wonder if anybody out there is witnessing strange feelings of ascension symptoms, such as just pure fatigue, weird dreams, laziness, pure bursts of creativity, things that have happened to you out there. In my experience, I was kind of dyslexic on reading, all my life, and had to read a sentence over and over and over again before it would, because my mind would be like squirrel, and then read it again. It was just like one sentence, and then finally have to tell myself, Shane, read it. And keep going.
Yeah.
Now I can speed read, and I don't know. This happened a couple months, maybe a month and a half ago, a couple months ago.
You're
I can
fortunate.
speed read, and it all downloads, and it doesn't have to be something I'm completely interested in. You know, I can just zip through it and take in everything, all the points that I need, and you know, or whatever that's pertaining to whatever the guy, you know,
That is
research
a
that I'm doing. But now I can now I can speed read in. I'm thankful for that, and I attest it to. Hey, there's a lot of weird energies and whatnot floating around these days in this new dawning of the age of Aquarius time, right? I mean, you're experiencing some shifty, fishy.
Well, I've been keeping a journal for most of my life because I've had so many
So cool.
incredible things that when I spoke to other people about it, they did not know what I was talking about.
You just publish it and put it on the.
I am. It's the
probably be a world bestseller, you know, on the new quantum.
I did an interview on Mother's Day, and the book is called "The 9 Truths and One Possible Alternative." And it came to me in a meditation. Actually, I was in prayer. I was sobbing. I was in England. I was like 500 feet from the Knights Templar Church. A dear friend of mine had just totally betrayed me, and it affected my children and I. And I was just like, why can I not trust them? I cannot trust people. And it was like I was standing right behind me and said, the title is The 9 Truths and One Possible Alternative. And of course, I got home and I looked it up, and there was nothing, not even anything similar. Even to this day, there's nothing similar. It was mine. It was me telling me, get ready.
That's so cool.
That was in 2008, and it's,
that
you know, I mean,
it's with the 9 notes that make up the whole everything.
The structure of the Tree of Life thing, or what?
The nine notes come with a line up with the 9 truths. I'm throwing that out there. I've never heard of the 9 truths, but I heard of the 9 notes.
Well, like as I said, when I looked it up, there was nothing, and so I very much assumed that was me giving myself, my future self or my higher self, giving me the title of what is going to be my life's work, because I've had to go through this entire awakening process and going back into a coma and coming back out repeatedly through my life to even comprehend what those truths may be. And I'm getting real close to wrapping it up. I believe
like a tipping point, right?
I'm at the precipice. So, and I ended up not posting and sharing the interview after I watched it again. It was done really shoddy. Like, anytime somebody spoke or cleared their throat or anything, a big letter would just take over the screen, which I guess is some option you have on Zoom. And people wouldn't silence their microphone, and you could hear all this. And she kept introducing me as if I'd already written the book and wasn't listening to me, that it was in process. And I was just like, screw this. Delete. We will try again at a later date.
She was speaking as if your book was already out and everything.
Yeah, it didn't matter how many 9 different ways I said it is in process. I am learning these and I am getting close, but no, I'm not there yet. It's not finished.
Maybe she was in the world where your book had already become a bestseller. You know, I mean, anything's possible in this day and age of crazy weirdness. And
well, back to my experience. That's another thing, because they are so fantastical that it would make a great sci-fi series. And so I started doing that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah. But it would be an ongoing series, because this is over.
Why not?
45 years of me remembering when they started happening. Everything from closet channelings. I would go in there and just lose hours of time and know full well I had been in this space with several other beings or consciousnesses, and we were literally discussing the awakening of humanity when I was 7.
Wow. Yeah. you're one of the few people that I know that been visited like that as a small child. I know two other people who said that's happened to them. And anyway, it's fascinating, and it you go somewhere in your subconscious for sure. It's proven. It's
the different wavelengths, the theta, delta, gamma is supposed to be like that blissful state. But one time I heard there was a state even farther than that. And I've had so many incredible lucid experiences, but those lucid, like the veil has thinned so much that it's coming through. Like I felt somebody tap on my toe, and I mean, tapped it. And just 2 nights ago, I was caught in a dream spin, which is usually what happens when you're in paralysis and you're partially aware that there's a program or a viewing that is being put there for you intentionally, and you start spinning and kind of saying the same thing or seeing the same thing over and over. That's how you can be aware and pull yourself out of sleep paralysis. And I heard like it was on this desk. And I mean, it woke me up, and I was like, okay, if that was real and not in my dream, and I want to hear it again, and it tapped before I even finished saying it. And I was like, okay, I'm up. I'm up. I'm awake.
Good. I'm glad whatever woke you up is probably your higher self.
Well, okay, I don't know if you can see this painting over here. It's like an archangel. It's a seraphim that I've been working on, and it's sort of dedicated to my guides, my team. Depending on who you talk to, they say that everything is one, and so basically we're just sitting here playing with ourselves, but who's in control? It's a simultaneous, hence the multiverse. So it could very well just be me talking to me, but there are so many segregated access points of my consciousness and your consciousness, and there's soul, and there's soul groups, and then there's higher self
families.
There's this whole thing of connectivity of these little consciousnesses. So just saying I'm sitting here talking to myself and you're a projection of me,
right?
It's so vastly inside. It's like splitting a photon and trying to understand the space between that makes that matter. It's hard to even go there, even though it's fascinating. And if I was smoking, I could probably go there really eloquently. But we'll save that for another day.
It is Oregon, it is legal, and you are over 21.
Well, it's no. We'll save that for another day. We wasted a lot of time on getting set up here, and I would totally dominate this thing.
Well, I mean,
soapbox.
Like I said, we're still trial running out here. I mean, I'm gonna go back and edit, so we can edit anything we want out here.
So she talks about the 3D matrix being an illusion. She talks about raw.
You just say something about earlier. We were on the phone, and you said something about there's a crack in the matrix.
Yes. Okay. So just recently, I have noticed in the collective, whether it be internet buzz or some close friends that we have these discussions with, last week or so, we were just like, I don't believe anything anymore. I'm questioning everything, blah, blah, blah. And it was like super frustrating and kind of terrifying for a moment until we started putting it out there. That's what these videos are so amazing, incredible, to let people know they're not alone, and the support system. So as I saw this all falling together, coming together more and more, I realized the matrix, that programming that we're all trying to deprogram from, that is what is being muddled. And this means we are deprogramming, we are succeeding, and there is a crack in the matrix, and we are seeing the light that's shining through it. And once that clutter disappears, and we can start seeing things clearly for ourselves and creating this new space, this new reality that in actuality was always our reality, but the powers that have been placed this bizarre, what we have referred to as the veil. That's the matrix. That's the coding before our third eye. That's, you know, sliding and covering up the massive, incredible, mystical, magical reality that we are all connected to.
So cool. Yeah, that's I totally feel your vibe on that, man. You can feel it in the air. You can feel it around not only what's happening, you know, with our own experiences, but everywhere. You know, there's people there's an awakening going on. There's no doubt about it. You know, everybody is really questioning everything that they've ever been taught, you know.
Yeah, so don't feel freaked out if you are. Don't worry about not knowing what to believe, etc. Know that this is you kind of wiping the sleep out of your eyes.
I mean, if there's anybody out there who's been hearing the voice in your head louder than usual, you know, that's another thing you know, where you can actually go where it says, no, Shane, go take a left, or, you know, and just do it. And it's clear as day, clear as I'm talking to you right now. And this
that has been something else that I've noticed over the last couple of weeks or 10 days is
clarity in messages and
just do something different. Just take the left instead of the right that you normally do when you get that nudge. Don't argue with it. Just set a course and start doing things that's a little bit differently, because the ripple effect will take you in a completely new area of experiencing life.
Mm-hmm. And it's something we've all heard of our whole lives, is that gut instinct, that first instinct feeling when a situation, an opportunity or whatever, you know, comes into your, you know, this place there, you know, approaches you. And just because we've all done it, man, I should have went with the first thing I thought of. It's just like with music takes. It's like go through a whole bunch of, you know, recording a song or a part or something, then go back and listen to the first one and go, oh, that's the one. Wow.
Yeah.
I've so much.
I'm like, I need to just hit record instantly, because
every time, for all the time,
in around with the melody or something, and then organically you're just like on cue, and then you get into your mind after that and you're off cue until you practice.
And that's the battle that they've given us, is that whole you know, ego versus the heart. But if you know it's from the heart and it feels good and that thought comes from there, it's always going to be right on. Always. I mean, if it's coming from here, it's like that 50-50 chance of, you know what I mean? If it's
right or left.
Yeah, you know. But now it's been proven that there's a direct, you know, connective nerve line straight from our heart to our brain. And if that thought of warmth and love comes from there first, it's always authentic.
That's where I was about to take it.
Follow the feel. You really feel it right there, you know. And that's what they're trying to do to us out there with all these you know, the program that's been bestowed on all of us is on TV, what society is, the whole bit, you know, the work situation, that we're not good enough and everything. But hey, we really are. And it's up to us to talk to each other about these things to help keep that vibration high. Because we all get into those spots where, you know, that self-doubt gets in the way, and that bullshit scarcity, not good enough.
Yeah, and then you feel all alone because your pride or fear or whatever, and you don't want to reach out and tell people, you know, vulnerability of, I feel like a big fucking loser right now, and they're like,
it happens to the best of it. And it snags all of us, and it's not your fault. They've been, you know.
No, that's what it's for. That's why they use that 19 hertz frequency in movies and music.
You know, exactly. Show me that. 19 hertz. Right. 19 hertz, exactly. That's it's called the fear frequency. That Hollywood uses it all the time. We didn't even know it. It's all in all the movies. You know, it's in everything. You know, it's what's being done right now. Look at the planet.
It could have been just a balloon and a kid, and they play that 19. And you're like, this is really suspenseful. Why do I feel this way?
All of a sudden, they didn't teach us about frequency and hertz and all that stuff in school, folks.
And they should have.
It was for a reason why they didn't, because it's the It's the language of the universe.
So
Vibrate.
supposedly Joseph Goebbels is the one that changed it from 432 to 440 in
Yeah.
the freaking encampments during the Holocaust to numb and dumb down people. And the rest of the tyrants of the world were like, yeah, let's do it.
Right. Well, to expand on
And
what you
their vibe is so low, it doesn't freak them out.
they live on the low vibe. We're not low vibe beings. We're high frequency beings who are made to ascend into our next levels of consciousness. Um, and they kept us down, you know. And that was one of them. And I'll expand on what you were saying about that. Changing world tuning for every musical instrument from the earth frequencies 528, 432, 444 in hertz to
440.
440
It's
hertz.
found nowhere in nature.
It's nowhere in nature. It does it's like a 19 hertz frequency. It screws everything up. You know, it makes things backwards and creates, you know, chaos. It promotes chaos and disorder is what 440 does. Unlike 528 hertz, which is the love heartbeat earth frequency. And, you know, honeybees have to flap their tiny little wings until they get to 528 hertz. That allows them to pollinate.
I wonder if playing that in, you know, fields for the bees specifically would help them reproduce more since they've been on the shortage for a few years.
Heck yeah, if there was a little 528 little generator next to me and I sat on it, whoa, it'd help me. You know, I bet you it would help them a lot. They'd just be in pollination mode, you know, whenever they wanted, you know. Sure, instead of having to flap their wings so hard to 528 hertz, the little busy bees that they are.
Oh,
isn't that awesome? How that's all tied into nature. That's why they didn't teach about these things, folks. Because they wanted to fund big pharma and unnatural, farming drugs. So, yeah.
Well, so you had talked about Egyptian history and talking about things that correlate with our beliefs and things that resonate with us now, and how something from so long ago is continuing to show us the way now. And our history has been jacked with so much. We literally don't have a clue what the reality is, because we are in an era where we are actually witnessing things that change.
We're trying to take away history.
Mandela effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why, but I feel like I need to focus on, you don't have to worry about creating the new. It's just deprogramming from the false. And what we're trying to achieve is already there. Once we deprogram, get sleep out of our eyes, it's already sitting here waiting for us. The light already won. We're just catching up to it in physicality.
The dark ages are gone. That whole epoch has passed. The age, and that was a dark age that just passed us. You've heard of it. The whole world going through the dark ages. Well, we just got through going through a dark age. It's a new golden age is upon us. We're just starting. It starts out bronze, but it's no longer dark.
Yeah.
But
I think that's why Betty White checked out the last day of the end of this. She's like, I'm perfectly healthy, but I'm out. I choose to exit this way peacefully, and I'm gonna incarnate however I want to on this new frequency where I belong. I've been sharing the light with all you guys for 100 years, so.
And all her puppies, and hell, her little.
Yeah.
I love that lady so much. Oh yeah, she was the last of the Golden Girls thing. That was a big thing going on, and it affected a lot of people. My parents, and aunts and uncles. I love that movie or that TV show growing up too. That last one she was on. She's the last of the Golden Girls.
Hot in Cleveland was the last one she's on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's just bunch of
I
hottie
saw a couple memes.
women that all kind of ended up in a house together, and they're all smart asses of their own caliber, and it's a lot of fun.
So why do they always tell everybody to grow a set of balls? They're weak and sensitive.
Yeah, right. Be the veg. If somebody calls you the P word, it's a compliment. That thing is strong, it's resilient, it creates life, it houses fetuses and brings babies into farm and spits them out and then goes back to pleasure. Pleasure dome.
Oh, right. Exactly. It goes along with her punchline, which was,
yeah, you should just tell somebody to go grow a vagina because I heard those things you take a pounding.
what, did she just say that? Oh my God. I love Betty White. Oh my God. Oh, Betty. Whoa, Black Betty. Bam, lamb, what, Betty out of jar. Yeah. So, sorry about that.
Hey, if you can't handle me busting out random song, we can't be friends.
It happens. We both do music. Trying to collaborate. We've collaborated. We do. We create.
Yeah.
You know, that's another thing. The best thing to do, what, to keep your vibration high? You told me was get out and frolic in the forest. That's the best thing we can do, right? Be one with our animals. Be a kid.
Yeah.
Not worry about shit. You know, they want us to worry.
Yes. Oh, that ties me back into something. I don't catch the Marina Jacoby episodes very often. I do it when I'm guided to. And I was today, and it was a financial quantum structure for financial
UFS.
whatever. So
UFS.
it's the
real thing.
The money that we keep thinking about Nasara Jasara. Well, the reason the holdup is because they cannot give it to everyone because they're not trying to fund the fucking criminals that already have the money and the sociopaths and the psychopaths and the low vibe people who just want to have like 19 Ferraris. They're not giving it to everyone. It is literally frequentially based, and we are being observed. And when we lock into that and they know our intention and we are trusting, that was what we were talking about earlier, it will come. It will come. And I'm having hell with this because I've lost everything a couple of times. I've had to start over 4 times in my life. And I'm like, it's winter in Oregon and I have a little dog and y'all are just asking too much of me to just sit on my ass and create music and art. But I'm like 60% totally in my love space about it. And then I open an email with threats and I'm like, fuck. I gotta pay my car payment.
Bombarding us, man. They're bombarding us with stuff. Once we start to get, you know, it's a bit difficult. Maybe not for a lot of people, but maybe it's difficult for some people to keep their vibrations high.
Yeah.
And not let the little things get to you. And little things, you know, it's like, you know, yeah, what?
It's not little to someone who's never had financial trouble.
Yeah,
like they may have relationship problems, or they may have health problems, or you know, like we all have our different things that we just are in alignment with naturally.
Well, we've been programmed a different way for so long. That's what's been going on. But you know, I'm so happy to live in this time right now because it's really an exciting time. I mean, it's going to be rude awakening for some people who have no idea of what we're talking about right now. You know,
oh my gosh, yeah, and double-edged sword to like bring up the monsters that are about to come out and wake up the noobs that just need to be shook awake, that don't realize the peril that we've been in.
Right.
Of course, we don't want to focus on that. We want to focus on bringing in the light. But there are people who are so complacent, they don't even know anything's wrong. They just have accepted mediocrity. Mm-hmm. And it's going to take hearing and seeing some horrible things to snap them out of their comfort zone. And it's not for everybody, you know. People are already awake are like, la 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 la. I don't want to know what anybody did I just want to move forward. So we're all on these different levels, and we're all on our journey home. We're all on our journey to ascend and evolve and become more connected, more love, more creative, all these things. Um, that's why I've given up on trying to tell anybody anything, because
Yeah.
I don't know where they are on their path.
Sure.
And if I feel a loving, organic, natural flow to share something, I will plant that seed, and I got to move on.
Hmm. Yeah, that's all we can do, because it's been proven that it's way easier to fool people than to try to convince somebody that they've been fooled.
Yeah.
And that's going to be part of the rude awakening there. But you have to realize that this dark age is over, and exactly, all these weirdos are out there showing themselves on, wait a minute, that's not how I was raised, that's not what I feel in my heart, that's not right. And if it doesn't feel, if it feels warm in your heart, then it's true, and it's good. But if there's something iffy, it's
Just like
really, where everybody's
Hollywood.
coming more alive now.
Yes, and this in relation to that, it's just like Hollywood using the 19 hertz
Right.
frequency to instill a shit feeling, because they want to lower our vibe, because that's the only way they have control over us. And so as we become aware of that, and it becomes practiced in our daily lives, and we don't let the little stuff bother us, we become unstoppable. I believe that with all my being.
I totally am with you on that. They've gone to extremes, to
Yeah. And so what you were just saying, though, having those thoughts, those whatever, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't know where that came from, but I ain't vibing with that. Some of us are targeted. That's actually why I stepped away from YouTube for the last year. I was like,
oh yeah,
I totally feel like, because there was crazy, and I'm like, where the hell did that even come from? I don't feel that. I don't resonate with it at all. And some people that are not as tapped in to being present would not know it was not theirs. They would just be like, I'm a pervert. I just thought about my grandma naked, or whatever. Like whatever it is,
Right, yeah. But I mean, there's another thing going on, which is a higher frequency that we're supposed to go on to. Here, we're supposed to be kept at this low level frequency in this 3D world matrix that they've made it all into. That's a weird rude awakening that's going to happen. Full disclosure, religion, it's only going to be set on its ass here. It's like a tipping point right now. But I know that I'm here to help people to go, hey, it's okay. Just, are you a good person? Are you not an evil, somebody that wants to hurt kids or people or whatever, or are you a good person in your heart? And that's really what it's going to be about. You've been duped. Yeah. Can you accept it and move on? You're going to have to, if you want to go to 5D.
Yeah. So this is a good time to do that screen share we were talking about, because we're talking about the energies and the assistance from our guides and galactics. So many of you have probably heard about the Schumann resonance. Are we a go here?
Yes, I see it right there.
Okay. So these are peaks. This is like solar, like gamma, different rays coming in to our Earth.
What site is this?
5DEarthProject.com.
5D Earth Project, and shows these graphs of different.
Yeah, and so these are real fun. These are what you see on like A Girl in the Universe. And
there's the solar wind forecast.
Right. Awesome. So Earth is this little yellow dot, and sun, like the CMEs, the solar flares, that kind of energy coming at the Earth. Actually, the sun's on this side. This is the sun right here. So
you can use your pointer. Where's the sun at? Right.
This is the sun in the middle.
Oh, I can't see you. I was
You
talking-
can't? Oh.
I was talking about your mouse.
Oh, I'm a dipshit. Okay, right here. That's the center. This guy in the
Okay,
middle.
yeah, now I can
Hold
see
on.
what's there. Okay, right.
Okay, and this
Okay.
is Earth right here. These are the other planets.
Okay, the yellow one right there.
Rotation.
Oh, and it has,
So,
gotcha.
okay, so CMEs and solar storms, the CMEs are eruptions, and they send these plasma flares out, and they don't always have to be Earth facing to affect us, to affect our magnetosphere. And what's been interesting is for the last couple of years, we have a bunch of energies coming in from the non-sun side, the non-sun facing side. So from behind Earth, where there's just other planets, we have all sorts of colorful, incredible energies coming into us. Hold on, here we go. This is the sun. This shows solar flares. So we believe that it's the galactics. Like, they're helping. Oh, I just got a twinge, an electrical twinge when I said that. They're assisting us in these upgrades and raising our frequency.
Fantastic. That's really cool.
And it's the world, but it's also the light workers are being pillars where we are literally holding the light. We were nudged to move certain places, like I was nudged to move here, and I foresaw it when I was in Albuquerque. I just foresaw it one day walking in my living room and was like, I'm in Portland. And I didn't really even think about it again until I went on my long sojourn across the country and then ended up here and never left. Was like, oh yeah, I totally foresaw this like 3 years ago. That's happened to people all over the world. And some say it's the 144,000. I don't know. I just know that there are these pillars of light who came here to hold the light, hold the frequency for the collective until they can get on the bandwagon and catch up and get into it and start doing it themselves.
That's freaking awesome, because that resonated with me. Of course, the reconnected, you and I, as far as that's concerned, because like, yeah, I could, feel the vibes of what's happening there, and we vibe on the same tree. We're from the same soul family.
Totally.
Toots.
This my brother from Nutta Mudda.
I know. It's amazing too, man, because we knew each other as kids, teenagers.
Yep, I was his little sister's friend, one of them.
Right. So you're my little sister.
Yeah.
Which is freaking awesome.
Oh.
So anyway, yeah, and those vibrations of that story is like, yeah, hey, moving on. What's up in Oregon? It's like, oh, okay, check it out. And here you are. It happened. It's real.
And I've been like a total hermit in my teeny tiny little fairy cottage here. And it's been daily since I got here. I've had the most incredible, like, I run out of spaces to write on my little journal because every freaking day there's so much interconnection with whatever's right on the other side of my program that I have almost broken through.
Amazing. Yeah, it's I need to do that. I don't journal, but no, I think it's fascinating that you do, and it's very smart to do, because it's a great reference. You can write it down as it's fresh, and
I miss so many
screenplay and a book and everything.
Yeah.
It's like, that was that dream for. Let me go back to that day. I was a year ago today. I heard the dream I had. That kind of stuff. Oh, wow.
Like, I've woken up 2 different times, three times now, because it just happened again, of me speaking another language. I woke up. When I spoke it into Google Translate, it said Arabic detected.
There goes Back to, there you go, Arabic. Back to Egypt.
But it said detected, so it could be Aramaic, which is what buzzed with me. It was very old.
Egyptian.
And it was a male voice talking to me. And when I woke up, I repeated what he said and like went straight to my phone and repeated it into the Google Translate and wrote it down, which I can't share the message to that. I'm sorry. Another is I woke up speaking it myself, and it said Mandarin detected. Polynese connected, or so it was something older, or maybe even slang, but it was a very Eastern Mosh Podge, and it deciphered into rescuing the children where there's a stone in the road or something. It said there is a stone in the road, and then it said something about the children, saving the children.
Stone in the road signifying what?
I don't know if it was like an actual, like a place to stop, or if it's
A fork.
exactly, which I just did that song, Path of the Garden of Forking Paths. Are you going to continue on the same road, or are you going to stop and pay attention and wake up and be present and choose love?
Wow. Yeah, it's happening all over. It's happening all over. Exactly. I feel the good energies around. And being aware of not letting what the 3D weirdness, pertain to my thing, because we were just talking about that, of that's just not in my space anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kill your television for one, folks. That'll keep your vibration off. Don't watch the news anymore.
Oh God, I gave that up. I gave cable TV up like 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's big thing, because that's part of how they do it. Get out of nature. Get out of nature and frolic in the forest with fairies.
Yeah. So Shane and I have both separately, except for he and I were on a live stream, and we were visited by a little light being or fairy that we actually caught on film. And then later you were just doing a live alone with
Get out of my head.
I was like ship, ship, ship.
Get out of my head. I was just gonna talk about the orb situation. You beat me to it, but yeah, that happened on camera. We were doing a little live YouTube lightworker talking session, and then it's like we look back and boom, there's a tracer. It says the thing was on rails. It was
oh my gosh,
self-guided. It could turn impossible directions.
It had a total flight path.
Yeah.
And it looked like a little lima bean, but it was pure white light fluttering.
Right.
And I zoomed in on it and sped up, slowed it down, and caught it. And I used some crap app to do it. I actually still have the original, so maybe I can do it better. But whatever it was, is a little light being. Teeny tiny little light being.
Yeah, definitely a super cool visitor, man. Now it's
and my dog Zephyr, for like an entire week and a half, 2 weeks, he would start cruising around, and I videoed him because he was going crazy and his tail was just like vibrating, and I caught it zipping on the video with my dog.
He's seen it. They know. They see things. They see things we don't.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic, because after my father passed away, his dog that he left me, Tough, was just staring into the corner, up at the ceiling, just having a Chewbacca conversation. And I'm like, who are you talking to, boy? Doing that, that whole Chewbacca talk thing, which is so cool. I love dogs. And he kind of just looks back at me, and I go, "What are you doing? You talking to Carl?" And he actually winked at me. Like,
yeah, I just asked if he winked. That's what Zephyr does when I ask him questions.
Right. Winking dogs. Yeah, they'll do that. Like, oh. you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And
it
his
takes for
ears
sure.
will
Yeah.
shift all over everywhere as we
Oh
talk.
yeah, man, it's for sure. My dad came to me as a horse once. No kidding. I was having a conversation with his sister at their house they grew up at, you know, and she was, you know, talking to me about going over the pass or whatever, and the horse next door across the street just comes tall talking, whapping his head on the. He stopped at the fence there, and he just right across the road, you know. And I'm look, Penny and I, man, Penny and I are just looking at the horse, going, "Yeah, I think my dad says it's going to be okay, Penny, and just leave me alone and let me go." And that's exactly what was going on, because he was telling his little sister to go, "Stop it, it's going to be okay." It was so strange because the horse was just so docile for years. Never did that before. But
That's beautiful.
it is, isn't it? You know, horses
I
are
just got a notification. There's been like 4 or 5 of them today. So the KP index it usually affects where we can see the aurora borealis. And when it gets to 5, it can mess with things like your heart monitors and different, little digital devices that they insert into our bodies, and just like, but KP6, 7, that's when, what is it called? The Carrington event happened in like 1800. I don't remember the year.
Yes.
And you could see
Carrington
the aurora
event.
borealis down in, like, it like covered the planet basically, and like shorter.
Yeah, they saw it from places you could never see it, and now that's happening again, right? It's happening again.
Well, that's what the big event is supposed to be like. The big solar flash is supposed to be something similar, and these energies that keep coming in, and the building, I mean, the sun's always, active and has its cycle. It's nature, everything has its cycle. But there are those of us, light workers, who have been experiencing what we refer to as ascension symptoms. And that is the light transforming our DNA. And from what I understand, it's turning us into crystalline beings rather than carbon-based beings. It's literally transforming the carbon to crystalline.
So is it taking those dormant DNAs and awakening, or transforming? Was that,
we only had we only had the 2, and now it's activating all 12, from what I understand. So, it depends on who you listen to, and this is
maybe that's why I can speed read now.
A cat, yeah.
I did. It's got to be an activation.
Right? Activated, yeah. And then my
telepathy. It up to that,
Absolutely. And I'm jealous because I'm a slow reader. I can comprehend anything if it actually holds my interest. Otherwise, I'm like what we were talking about earlier, where I'll read the same sentence 9 times. If it's just not interesting to me, I'm like, read it. You have a test.
Yeah, exactly. I was only able to read, like, I don't know, I was really interested in, last time I could do it was, I don't know, reading rock and roll, stories of rock and rollers. I love road stories and that kind of stuff. But everything else,
I'm a total geek. Everything about me is like quantum and ancient history and ancient astronaut and total
interesting. Everything else. What? Oh, read it again.
Yeah. Retain.
I know, right?
And I used to could hear a monologue and recite it. I could hear somebody play something on an instrument and pick it up, even though I'd never played the flute, and play their piece, that they did in whatever it's called, where you have contests. Like, I used to be this amazing, incredible, and I don't know if it's fluoride or maybe drugs I dabbled with throughout my life, because this reality just never seemed right, and I always wanted to go somewhere else and experience a more colorful, crazy one. Tap into the DMT, etc.
Right, you heard the calling louder than most, yeah.
So, well, louder than the people I was surrounded by. If I had somebody to talk to about it with sober, I probably wouldn't have been so adventuresome.
Well, there's not many people you can talk about the subjects that we're talking about because they just will not even have an open mind enough.
Well, there's more and more, more and more and more and more and more.
There's more and more every day, which is
Yeah.
yeah, it's really great, because you think about it. Okay, even inadvertently, okay, one of the evils what they've done is they put fluoride in the water system so it would shut down the third eye, basically. I mean, it's for real. And so inadvertently people have been drinking more filtered water over the last how has the water filtration craze been going on for what would you say 20 years, 30 years, maybe
Were
a
they
lot more in the last 10, 12.
Well, and there's other countries that is banned. Just like pesticides and GMOs. Russia,
right, and that's all
banned.
getting banned and stuff. So more and more people's third eye have been opening just because of that simple
Let me
little
tag
thing
that
right
in.
there. You know what I mean?
When Shane is saying third eye and how fluoride and certain chemicals affect the third eye and keep it shut. Okay, so it's the thalamuses, the pituitary gland, and the pineal gland, and this little, and that's what creates. But it's the three of them together that creates the dimethyltryptamine and serotonin and all the different, that it all works together to create these chemicals that our body produces naturally and takes us into dream state or happy, sad. It affects our emotions 100%. So yes, just like screwing with the music frequency and the hertz, they're screwing with something that a natural function that was like in our brains innately, like was already there. So it literally calcifies this area, and what we would normally see and tap into is muted. That's the veil.
More and more people waking up every day. We got to be thankful for that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's more of a slow process than I thought it was going to be, but you never know. I mean, every day going on since this all really came on strong is just feels like even more of a tipping point. It's like, just be patient, Shane.
Yeah.
Look at
hi, buddy.
That's bullet.
So I've done, like, I haven't used toothpaste in forever. I brush my teeth with, I gargle with peroxide or hydrogen peroxide and brush my teeth with baking soda. And I totally use water filters, and I keep a crystal in my water that I mined myself in Arkansas, where there's
more people, yeah, just like everybody's becoming more and more just conscious of like the going more natural,
right,
being aware of the evil chemicals they're putting in there. I mean, look at the Johnson & Johnson thing. It just really got to me,
I don't know what you're talking about. La 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 la.
Yeah. It's like, well, they're just liars. Let me just say that they're liars, and they said that their stuff was good, but it's not. So
yeah, like baby powder with
it's off,
petroleum oil in it.
And that's why I'm telling everybody out there to hey, buy local, buy American, buy here. Don't quit going to Walmart. I've quit going to Walmart. I've boycotted all those fuckers. Like, I don't care.
So here's something for people who have doubt about this. If you can literally get a box of the same thing that is distributed in Europe and here, and the ingredients in America is twice as long, and it's a bunch of unnecessary crap, poison, basically.
Yeah. Well, they put in antifreeze, and then they, good for keeping it all, in embalming fluid.
Yeah, Coca-Cola you can use to clean battery acid.
Totally.
Doritos, which I used to love until I found this out.
Oh, what?
You can use for kindling. You light that bitch on fire if you don't have any paper or charcoal or whatever to get the wood going, and that stuff stays lit.
I did not know that. Wow.
Go light yourself a Dorito.
Go try it. Doritos. Heck yeah. Ban your Doritos. kill your
I love Doritos. I have not been able to eat them since then. Like, what? And it's just like coffee
I know, right? Those
creamer.
kind of things, those tiny
Coffee
little
creamer
things.
is so flammable. You can do magic tricks with coffee creamer. You know, you see the mystical movies and the witches and the whatever, and they're like
Right. The
conjuring something and then do something. Do that with coffee creamer. You can have your own conjuring, like mystical experience.
I've done the coffee creamer thing. Yeah, that's wild.
The dry stuff, people.
Oh
The
my
dry.
God. Yeah, I've done
Don't
that one.
fling the wet stuff around. The coffee creamer challenge.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to give up your coffee creamer and Doritos, folks. It's going to be hard for maybe some people won't be able to, but we got to move on from this wicked world of stuff because there's a new one. I mean, well, it's just right there. And it's your wildest dreams, awakening. Deprogramming, the pineal gland, and what was the other one that make all three for the third eye?
The thalamus.
That's the veil's being lifted, just like what you said.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
So parallel realities, another thing the harmonic reactor Marina Jacobi says, to think about television. And when I was 13, my dad and I had one of our harshest debates because he just did not believe me about multiverses. And I was thinking of this when I was 13. I was talking about old radio dials. All those channels are playing music and they exist, but you don't have a clue unless you dial and tune into it. And sometimes you can get in between and pull two stations through. And that's what some of us are doing with the lucid dreams and the channeling and stuff. So if you think about a television or streaming services, all those things are going on whether you're tuned into them or not. And I believe everything is microcosm of the macrocosm, which you can understand it at the simplest level or the most expansive level just by observing one or the other explains this self-replicating pattern, like a fractal. Hi, little dog, lickety pose. Oh, you're so precious. You're so precious. Hey, buddy. Camera?
EMF radio signals and waves and everything that are hitters that are not good for us out there. I've taken some just precautions on the back of my cell phone. See that right there?
Yeah.
That's the EMT deflector.
I love it. I keep this on the nightstand next to where my phone is, and I keep it between my phone and my water.
Cool. What is that? A little
Organite.
Oh yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, got some a whole bunch of obsidian. Keep that around. It keeps negativity and brings in the positivity. It's wonderful. Like right here in Oregon. Well, actually, it's a place I can go. You do like great big chunks of obsidian. It's wonderful, but. That's one thing you can have in your home. Obsidian's good to have. Have some plants. Go run with the nature. Take your dogs. Have fun. Don't worry about stuff. You'll be fine, right?
Yeah, there are places in the world, people in the world that will never know anything about the shift, but they just are sweethearts, and they will shift without ever needing to know a thing. Like your mom. Like your mom.
Yeah, classic example, perfect example. She's a little, winged fairy just floating around already. So, I mean, she's so wonderful that every time you just sit and talk with her, you feel better.
Yeah.
About everything for, it lasts for a while. That's a good thing to have. A good rule of life right there to leave every meeting and conversation with love and say, where, there's a smile going on. It's like,
yes, thank you for experiencing this with me.
It's that thing, and we got to be goofy. We got to laugh and see some really uptight people out there, and I always try to cheer them up, but you can't save everybody. It's like beating a dead horse sometimes. I hate that Shouldn't even use that.
Yeah, I know that
like-
one.
It's
And
like it's like throwing a boomerang full of shit. How about that?
yeah,
He's coming back. He's coming back. They don't do anything about it.
I
know?
always say feed two birds with one seed because I don't like the other one.
Feed two bird with one seed. I love that. Okay, I'll use that one. Yeah. Thank you. No, it sounds way better because I love horses.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
Bro,
we were
like,
talking
why?
about the orb that visited us on our last little podcast thingy, and you had a zip visitor in the room there with you. There,
Zip.
really awesome. And then a while back, I had an orb visit me. I just sent you a video, and I was like, "Do you see what I see?" And my little visitor was different. It was just more.
No, you had two different ones. I saw that and the orb that was cruising around in the back. Either that or it changed shape and size and speed and path movement.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe it was the same one. I couldn't figure it was my Oma. She's right there.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be the same one. It just could be the same kind.
Same time,
Kind.
Yeah. Exactly. But we both caught orbs on film during this time. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then,
You've
like,
had you've like seen portals or something. Isn't that what you said one time?
It opened up on this back wall.
Okay.
And I think it was September 2019. And my sleep patterns had,
Zephyr, look.
Oh, look. Look at the puppy.
He's looking. Oh, kind of. No, now he's looking at you. Now he's looking at you. Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that was bizarre. Then, you're sitting there in the middle of the night. My sleeping patterns were sporadic. Maybe an hour here, an hour there. It was crazy for like that whole year. And I sat there and I'd been seeing these like this looks like a little dash of paint, like a little paint swipe. Oh, it's got a tingle or a
Gingerly?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I'd been seeing them, and then some nights they were like 20 of them in a night. I just got pinged on my crown. And, I saw one on the wall, which was not normal. It was usually just like in the air, in the space, in the ether, I guess. And it was in front of this wall, and I looked at it because usually you catch it with your peripheral, and by the time you stare straight at it, it dissipates. And this thing didn't. It started expanding, and it turned into this metallic looking thing, and then it had like a design like you would see on crown molding as it spherically expanded, and there was nothing but space. Like it looked like I was looking through a telescope, but with this metallic crown molding around it that used to be my wall. And I was just sitting there, and it maybe happened over like 3 minutes or something. I have no idea because
It went on for 3 minutes. That's a long
Yeah.
time. Wow.
and I'm guessing because time kind of stands still when a portal opens on your wall. And I was sitting on the bed, and I can't move, and I can't look away, and I'm like, I should stick my hand in it, like, and all I could think or do was, is that a fucking portal opening on my wall? And that's as far as I could go. I just sat there, stuck. And it took me months to finally realize I had an app on my phone where I could like look and see what the constellation was. But of course, everything had shifted. I mean, it shifts a degree or so every day. So I have no idea where it was at. And I could totally Google, maybe what constellation was facing this direct. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe a specialist could pinpoint it. But I thought maybe there was some correlation to that night and what was there, but I was so blown away by what was happening. I don't know what stars were there and what color and how many. Constellation didn't register, but it was space. Anyway,
It probably, I'm
hasn't
sure.
happened again.
Well, it has to have some kind of correlation because gematria and all that is coming into play so much. With
What
every
is my
gematria, the number language, numbers, numerology kind of stuff.
yeah?
Gematria. You heard of it? It's where
I guess geometry,
right. It's an old thing where they take where every letter of your name on what date is
Oh, yeah.
If two, a two is the second. That would be
the Kabbalah in
a B
Hebrew.
would be a two. One would be a.
Yeah. And you need a cipher, and then you can
Right,
decode
cipher,
the message
yeah,
you're looking at and get the real message.
right, and it coincides with the harmonic reactor situation that works with everything.
Like I think it's Hebrew, or maybe Jew, or again the Kabbalah. I think they say that like the name of God is a number.
Yeah, Elohim or something like that.
Elohim.
Yeah, to where it was like not just one God, but they were talking about several gods. Wasn't that right? That Elohim means.
But again,
not just one God, but a bunch of gods.
It's like that, but it's not. I mean, tomato.
Sure.
You have the one.
Go to
The one slowly begins to fracture apart, and that's how it became consciously aware of itself. When it split in two, just like a photon, microcosm, macrocosm. And that's what I believe twin flames are, honestly. And quantum entanglement. We don't go to the same place and we don't experience the same things until we have evolved and we're ready. And then we go through all of this again, but together. Coupled, and then we go through it all together again, joined, and maybe it's in the production of a child or another life, or actually in the merging, because in ancient folklore all the gods and the demigods were they had both sexes. They were transgender.
Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of these people. Why do you think transgenderism is being pushed so hard these days? It has something to do with it for sure.
The return, that cycle. Yeah, I know. It really freaks people like my grandmother out, but she also talks about the harvest, which is Ra in the Law of One, and that is when they come and take those who are resonating at that frequency, and it talks about that in the Bible in Revelations, where two will be plowing a field, and in a blink of an eye or a flash of an instant, one will be taken and the other will still be there in the field.
Right. That goes with the 144,000 you're talking about earlier.
No, there is some sort of correlation, but the number of people who will be taken is such more vast than that. I think the 144 are the pillars that are holding the light, anchoring the light frequency for the collective to raise to the point of that happening.
The people who have been so good on Earth, but they've just been following along like sheep, like we did for a little while, but then broke away as creator musicians that we are, and never got, stuck in that whole thing. But right?
Oh yeah, my grandmother was an actual Sunday school teacher for 60 plus years.
They'll just go through anyway because they just didn't know, and they just didn't think that that the world and their government leaders and everything would be on a squad that was, all against, to program you into a slave.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there again, it depends on who you listen to and what you believe, because who's the person standing there that's left standing there? I don't think everybody goes, but depending on who you're listening to, everybody goes. But I don't think they do. I think everybody will go somewhere, but we're not all going to 5D. There are many people here that just were not ready for the ascension who will go to somewhere that's probably very similar to Earth without the manipulation, so they can continue their, their 3D experience and evolution until they are ready to evolve into the next level. But we're infinite, so that's just like my friend went on vacation. I'll see him soon. It's not like, don't freak out, they're gone and you'll never see them again. We are all connected. Oh, back to what you were talking about, Loham and all the gods. So the many sparks, you have the one, and then it cracked apart and it became consciously aware of itself. And I wrote a song about that, Sophia and the Logos, intention and manifestation. And at the beginning of it, I mean, I discussed the splitting of the photon and the first light, like the string theory, this whole thing. And my people have given me grief about my lyrics being so scientific, but they're also incredibly romantic, and all about love.
Marina Jacobi situation. It's too scientific. It's like, just give me, sing me a nursery rhyme. You know what I mean? It's where it's like, so much cool stuff, but I can't.
You can tell it in an analogy.
Yeah.
And then go back and plug in the words of what we're referring to and tell the story to a broader audience in minutes. Hopefully. I mean, that may be something you and I have to work on.
Perhaps. Yeah, we'll put the link out there for, what was that the website you shared with the with all the solar winds and the graphs.
5D Earth Project.
Yeah, we'll put that in the description. I'll link in a place where you can go and check out what Marina Jacobi is trying to, tell us out there.
And our music, because
because we got some music out there. We're out there spreading vibes. We're here to keep your vibes high. So, artists, come to us.
Create and
join. Come
create,
to us, create with us,
and they will come.
Oh yeah. Try to get out there, do something. Talk about this awakening that's going on. It's really happening. It's a really amazing time to be alive right now. Frolic in the forest, and you won't be afraid. And we'll just go on through this thing because it's going to be awesome. I'm telling you, we're not built to be held down. Our wings are too, they're too big to be clipped now.
Well, you could look at it like the caterpillar was always going to be a butterfly, and this dark time for humanity has just been us within the chrysalis.
Yeah, it's over. Right.
I think what we were talking about earlier that made us really want to jump into doing a casting is the double-edged sword of knowledge, like getting in there and understanding, the horrible things that have been inflicted upon humanity. Even something like our society thinks it's okay to say beat a dead horse or kill a bird with 2 stones. And I mean, that's disgusting and cruel and inhumane. But we have it instilled in our vocabulary, just meh.
Right, you caught me doing it just right there. It's been programmed,
Exactly.
It's just right in there, And
yes.
So we're trying to get out of that.
That is everywhere, has been in every aspect. It's been bombarding us through the television and the radio commercials and all that,
Well, even our schools. I mean, you and I have not been taught the right history, just because it was Rockefeller who gave us all the books.
Well, they turned it into, what was it, World War II? And they're like, let's get everybody to be factory workers, and we'll have this rigid, curriculum that amounts to a hill of beans in actual reality in life. Like we were talking about earlier, we should have learned what frequency and how it affects our lives and nature. We should meditate. It doesn't have to be anything religious or cultural. It's just being centered in yourself and being present. is
And I
so
figured out also
important.
meditating while you're dancing or you're listening to music so intently.
Absolutely. Or
Yeah,
frolicking
float
in the
away.
woods.
That's a form of meditation. That
Frolicking in the
it's
woods.
easy to do, because some people find it a little bit difficult to clear your mind, breathe, and all that stuff. Which
I 100% meditate when I paint.
when you're doing something you love, you're meditating. You're meditating when you're doing things you love. She's right.
Hanging out with my dog, honestly, because I am emanating absolute love frequency.
Oh yeah.
And that is what we are going for, to be the catalyst for this global awakening, is just tapping into that higher frequency. It's that simple.
Nature.
Yeah. And so back to the conundrum of being aware of the crap that's been pulled and the program we're walking away from, versus just being in our high vibration and not getting caught up in that, because it becomes another self-replicating, repeating fractal that we get stuck turning our wheels. So once you know it, and you realize this is a sham, and you realize that we are more and there is better, then only focus on that. Stop getting caught up in the nightmare.
Yep.
Please.
Don't worry about it. Let it go, because it'll work itself out. It always does. And here's a good grandma one to end on. What she used to say is, I remember this advice so much.
Well, Shaney, if you worry about stuff, it's just like praying for shit you don't want.
And that's the truth. So what we're focusing on, that's what we're going to, go in your world, right? So don't worry, it's going to get better, folks. Hang in there, hold the line, keep that light high.
Hold the line, hold the light, hold the love.
All that.
Okay.
Cool. All right. Ciao. Love you. Rock on.
Ciao. Love you. Bye.
Anyway, we're still, Carol, let me just stop recording right there.